The core that reached Earth, the skies of a peaceful alien world, Loraka, were torn apart by burning ships. Their enemies, the brutal Krell, had returned. For years, the people of Loraka avoided war. They believed peace and words could fix everything. But the Krell didn't believe in peace. They believed in power. And now, they were taking everything. The Lurikans had no warships, no soldiers trained for real battle, and no defenses to stop the destruction falling from the sky. Inside the main government tower, Councillor Mera shook as another explosion rocked the ground. Her hands trembled over the control panel as she opened a wideband distress signal. "Please," she whispered, voice breaking. "To anyone who hears this. We are under attack. We are peaceful. We need help. Please." The signal flew into space, past dying ships, and crossed the galaxy. Most ignored it. Some races turned away, not wanting to get involved with the Krell. Others didn't have the strength to fight, but one world listened. One world had stayed silent for years, choosing not to join the galactic alliances, not to involve itself in politics. That world was Earth. In a cold, silent command center buried beneath the Martian surface, the signal flashed across a black screen. A man named Reed sat at the console, sipping black coffee. He read the message, eyes narrowing. He didn't say a word. He stood, turned toward the wall, and pressed a button. Across Earth's defense network, hidden systems came alive. Warnings echoed in secure bunkers. Giant hangars opened. Silos moved. Machines hummed. Earth didn't send diplomats, Earth didn't send promises, Earth sent the Deathwelder Armada. It had been years since it was used. The galaxy had forgotten it even existed. But Earth didn't forget. Above the Martian sky, the first of Earth's silent warships rose into orbit. Jet black, armor thick as mountains, each ship carried not just weapons, but monsters. Not real monsters, but humans born and raised on Earth. Trained for pain. Molded by survival. Built to win. They were not just soldiers. They were Deathwelders. On Loraka, Councillor Mera stared at the sky as Krell warships dropped closer to the city center. Families screamed. Children hid. Fire spread. Her eyes caught movement in the clouds. A light, then 10 more, then hundreds. Something was falling, but it wasn't Krell, and it wasn't crashing. It was landing. Lurikans pointed to the sky. Hope flickered. Krell sensors picked up hundreds of strange readings. At first, they ignored them, then, their screens turned red, warning, incoming unidentified warships. Origin, Earth Command, unknown. By the time they realized who had answered the call, it was already too late. Earth's Deathwelder Armada had arrived. The Krell meet Earth's shadow. The Krell fleet was massive, over 400 ships surrounded the skies above Loraka. Their weapons were old but strong, and their generals proud. They had never lost a battle in open space. And now, their scanners showed something new entering orbit. Ships, black ships, silent ships. No radio contact. No identification, just heat. Power. And purpose. Krell Commander Tok stood on the bridge of his battle cruiser, jaws clenched. "Scan them again," he growled. "Who are they?" One of his officers turned pale. "Their design matches old Earth models, Commander." Tok blinked. "Earth? That backwater." Another officer shook his head. "No, sir. Not just Earth. The Deathwelders. The ones who destroyed the Zyril Empire in 1 week." Silence fell. Everyone had heard the stories. But those were just myths. Old tales. Earth hadn't been seen in the galaxy for over a decade. Tok laughed, trying to stay calm. "They are only human. Bring them down." But as his voice echoed on the ship, the first Earth vessel moved. It didn't fire lasers. It didn't send missiles. It appeared behind one of the Krell destroyers, silently, and then cut it in half with a beam so thin, so fast, that it didn't explode. It just stopped existing. Another Krell ship tried to turn away, but its engines froze. It drifted uselessly, pulled into the gravity well of one of the Earth vessels. The Deathwelders were not just skilled, they were brutal. Down on Loraka, the sky lit up in blue and red. As Krell debris started falling, Councillor Mera watched with wide eyes as one of Earth's drop pods slammed into the street outside the city bunker. The metal shell hissed and opened. Out stepped a human. He was tall, covered in black armor that looked more like a living machine than a suit. His face was calm, eyes cold. Movements precise. Behind him, more pods landed. Each one opened. Each one revealed more of them. Not one spoke. They didn't need to. Mera ran to meet them, heart pounding. "Are you from Earth?" The lead human gave a small nod. She trembled. "You came." He looked past her at the burning city, the broken sky, and the rising Krell mechs approaching from the far road. Then he spoke, voice deep and hard as steel. "You asked." Mera stepped aside. The human soldiers walked forward, weapons glowing softly. One of them tossed a Krell drone, cut in half, at her feet as they passed. From the far side of the city, Krell ground forces roared. Thinking they would meet another soft race, they didn't expect Deathworlders. The first shot rang out, silence followed, because the fight ended in under 4 minutes. Earth soldiers didn't just fight. They moved like storms. Their weapons weren't just guns, they were punishments. By the time the smoke cleared, over 100 Krell were dead. The humans didn't take losses, not one. Mera looked around in shock. She had heard of Earth. Heard warnings in council meetings. They are too dangerous. Too wild. Unpredictable. Now, she understood, they weren't wild, they were trained, prepared, built for moments like this. Up in orbit, Commander Tok's fleet was burning. Another 3 Krell cruisers were torn apart. Every attack they sent, missiles, energy beams, plasma strikes, were useless. The Earth ships moved too fast. Their shields absorbed too much. Their weapons hit too hard. Retreat. Tok shouted. Now. But it was too late. The Deathworlder flagship locked onto his ship. Tok's last view was of a blue beam of light, so bright it filled his command deck, then he was gone. The galaxy starts to panic. News of the Krell defeat spread fast. Within hours, deep space satellites captured images of the destruction over Laraka. The Krell fleet, once feared across the stars, was gone. Not broken. Not scattered, erased. Council leaders across the galaxy stared at the images in silence. The footage showed Earth ships moving like shadows, cutting, burning, disabling with near-perfect precision. It showed Deathworlder soldiers on the ground fighting without fear, without pause. One human took down a 10-ton Krell battle walker using only a knife and a rope. They weren't an army, they were a force of nature. In the Galactic Core, the Central Council called an emergency session. Ambassadors from 65 species gathered in a cold, round chamber lit with floating displays. At the center, the oldest member, Eldavos, spoke first. "Earth has returned. And it has sent its Deathworlders." No one replied. Some looked away. Others whispered in fear. "Is the Krell Empire finished?" a quiet voice asked. Another councillor nodded. "All signs show total loss. No ships remain. Their main base on Core Prime is now just ash." But Earth didn't even send a warning, a bird-like alien said, flapping its wings nervously. "No message. No demands. Just violence." Eldavos lowered his head. "That is their message." Many began to argue. Some wanted to open talks with Earth immediately. Others suggested hiding, building defenses, or trying to block human technology from spreading. But one thing was clear, humanity wasn't interested in rules anymore. Back on Laraka, the fires had stopped. Councillor Mera walked through the broken streets with the human commander beside her. She still didn't know his name. He hadn't offered one. None of them had. They were like ghosts in armor, appearing where needed, fixing what was broken, and then moving on. Earth ships hovered silently in the sky. Not threatening, but present. Watching. "They are afraid of you," Mera said softly as she glanced up. The commander stopped walking. She turned to look at him. "The other species. The council. Everyone. They've seen what you did to the Krell. They'll see it as a warning." He stared at her, unmoving. It wasn't a warning. Then what was it? A promise. Mera blinked. A promise of. The commander looked toward the horizon where smoke still rose. "If anyone hurts those who asked for help, Earth will come." Simple words, but they shook her to her bones. Suddenly, a group of Lurakan children ran up. One little girl tugged at the human's armored leg, smiling. Her skin was dust-covered, but her eyes were bright. "You saved us." The soldier didn't respond at first, then he slowly knelt and handed her a ration bar from his pouch. She took it, eyes wide. Thank you, big human. She giggled and ran off. Mira smiled. Maybe they weren't just weapons, maybe there was something deeper beneath the armor, but not everyone would see it that way. Far away, on the dark moon of Rivens Reach, the old empire known as the Goral Syndicate gathered. Their leader, High Warlord Jack, watched the battle footage in silence. This is bad, his second-in-command whispered. Jack clenched his fists. No. This is war. We didn't attack Loraka, sir. It doesn't matter. Earth is moving again. If they build allies, if they expand, they'll burn through us all. So what do we do? Jack leaned forward, eyes dark. We prepare. We unite the others. And if Earth comes again, we'll be ready. But even as he spoke those words, deep in his heart, Jack wasn't sure they ever could be. Whispers in the dark. The Lurican sky was finally clear. The stars shone again over the quiet city, where families were rebuilding homes and sweeping broken stone from the streets. Earth soldiers still stood guard, helping in silence, eyes always watching. They didn't ask for anything. No payment. No trade. They had come to help, and yet, far from Loraka, in the corners of space where power-hungry empires watched closely, Earth's kindness wasn't seen as mercy. It was seen as a threat. In a hidden station orbiting the black hole world of Varnes. 5 empires gathered in secret. The meeting was illegal. Dangerous. But none of them cared. Representatives from the Goral Syndicate, the Orsal Dominion, the Tevak Union, and 2 pirate clans leaned over a glowing table, staring at maps of Earth's fleet. Warlord Jack stood at the front. You've all seen the footage, he said coldly. Earth's armada wiped out the Krell in a single day. And they've now taken a protective stance over Loraka. If they build more alliances, we'll be next. The Orsal spoke in a whispering voice. We do not need more enemies. Earth was quiet for years. They only returned because someone begged. Jack slammed a fist down. And next time it could be someone closer to us. Another weak species calling for help, and suddenly Earth soldiers are outside your capital. But they helped the Luricans, one pirate lord hissed. What if we leave them alone? Jack glared at him. Leave them alone. You think Earth's going to stop here? They just re-entered the galactic stage with force. That's not peace. That's dominance. Silence filled the room. Then, Jack pointed at the map. We strike first. Not directly. We bleed them. We show the galaxy that Earth is not untouchable. How? Jack smiled. It wasn't kind. We target their weak point, their heart. We find where they came from. Their base of operations. Their relay points. And we crush it in secret. Let them feel fear again. Back on Loraka, Councillor Mera met with the Earth Commander again. This time, they stood at a ruined hospital, where human medics worked alongside Lurican healers to care for the wounded. She watched as a massive soldier lifted crushed stone like it was paper, freeing a child from beneath. These people. She whispered, they trust you now. The commander didn't respond. You said this wasn't a warning, she continued, but others will take it as one. There are whispers already, plans forming. He finally turned to her. Let them whisper. They are afraid of what you are. They should be. Mera stepped closer. And what are you, really? He looked her in the eyes. We are the answer to their crimes. Before she could ask more, a human soldier jogged up and handed the commander a small screen. He stared at it for several seconds, jaw tightening. What is it? Mera asked. The screen displayed a message. Unauthorized movement detected, deep orbital region source, unknown empire possible raid incoming. The commander nodded to his men. Recall scout wings. Prepare ground defenses. But the war is over, Mera said. He looked at her one last time. Not yet. Across space, hidden ships began to move. They carried strange weapons, designed not for open battle, but for sabotage, stealth, and terror. They didn't fly banners. They didn't speak names. They were ghosts, sent by the frightened empires who thought striking first would save them. They headed toward Mars, believing Earth would never expect an attack on its red colony, but Earth knew, they always knew. The Martian awakening. The enemy fleet was silent. No flags. No signals, just 30 dark ships moving like shadows through the deep void. No one from the Galactic Empires spoke openly of them. These were not official warships, they were deniable. Unmarked and deadly, their target, Mars, their goal, to destroy the source of Earth's response network and cut off the Deathworlders from their command base. If they succeeded, Earth's forces over Loraka would be alone, but Earth was never unprepared, buried miles beneath the Martian crust in a cavern that hadn't opened in years, a chamber lit up. Red warning lights flickered. Dust shook off old machinery. And inside a sealed vault, something ancient powered on. It wasn't a weapon. It was a Guardian. In orbit above Mars, a single Earth station picked up the silent fleet. The operator on duty, a young man named Liam, saw the red alerts appear one after another, unmarked ships. No transponders. Heading straight for command. He didn't panic. He pressed one button. Protocol, Stonefang, code black authorization GRANTED. Far below, the Martian vault cracked open. A thunderous rumble echoed through old tunnels as massive gears turned for the first time in decades. The ceiling split apart. A thick slab of stone lifted, and from the darkness, a machine emerged, not just any machine. A Titan. It stood over 100 meters tall, forged of metal from Earth's deepest mines and alien alloys collected in forgotten wars. Its body was covered in Earth's old war markings, claws of fire and stars torn in half, its eyes glowed, its reactor hummed, and it remembered war. As it rose through the surface of Mars, dust and rock exploded into the air. The enemy fleet was seconds from firing when the Titan launched. The pirates aboard the lead assault vessel cheered. "We are almost in range. Prepare plasma burst." Then everything went black. A massive shadow passed through the fleet, so fast they couldn't track it. One ship exploded. Another lost its engine and spun wildly toward the Martian surface. "What was that?" one pilot shouted. The Titan didn't answer. It didn't speak. It tore through them. With one punch, it crushed the hull of a cruiser like paper. Its shoulder-mounted beams cut through two others in seconds. It flew without wings, powered by Earth's oldest gravity engines, tech too dangerous to share, even with allies. The enemy never had a chance. From Earth to Loraka, every Deathworlder received the same message: Mars is secure. Target eliminated. Guardian active. On Loraka, the human commander read the message and nodded. Counselor Immerse stood beside him. Was Mars attacked? He gave a slow nod. It was. And handled. Mera didn't ask more. She no longer needed to. Every time someone tried to test Earth, they failed. Not because humans were lucky, but because they planned for everything, even betrayal, even fear, especially fear. In the council chambers at the galactic core, the reaction was immediate. They had a Titan hidden under Mars, one ambassador shouted. "That's not defense, that's madness." Another slammed the table. "We sent ships we didn't even claim as our own, and they responded with something that wiped them out in seconds. They didn't even threaten us back," another whispered. "They didn't need to." Elder Vo spoke last. "We provoked them." And Earth answered, not with words, but with reminders. Reminders of what they are. He looked around the chamber. Deathworlders. The infiltrator Loraka had become something strange. What was once a quiet, peaceful world now stood under the silent protection of Earth's Deathworlders. Human warships hovered high above, unmoving but always watching. On the ground, black-armored soldiers helped rebuild towns, cleared roads, and guarded hospitals. No banners flew. No demands were made, but everyone knew Loraka was now under Earth's shadow, and not everyone liked that. From the far side of the galaxy, the Tevak Union launched a new mission, this one not with ships, but with silence. A single operative, trained in infiltration, disguise, and deception, was sent to Loraka. His body was covered in adaptive skin, allowing him to take the form of nearly any species. His mission was simple: get inside Earth's forward command. Learn their tech. Find their weakness. The operative landed on Loraka as a Lurican merchant. He carried fake documents, wore simple clothes, and smiled often. He watched the humans from afar. Every move. Every shift. Every patrol route, and then, he made his move. Inside the Earth Mobile Command Unit, 3 Deathworlders monitored ground. And orbital security, their commander, still unnamed to outsiders, stood at the center. Staring at live feeds from every corner of the city, the disguised infiltrator entered through the outer supply tent, pretending to deliver medical crates. He walked slowly, head down. He passed one guard, then another. He reached the side hatch, but just before he stepped through, something stopped him. A massive, gloved human hand gripped his shoulder. "You don't blink like a lurican," the soldier said quietly. The operative froze. "Also," the soldier continued, "your fingers are too long." Before the infiltrator could react, the soldier slammed him into the ground. Within seconds, alarms blared across the base. Other soldiers ran in. The fake skin melted off the spy's face as he snarled and tried to stab his captor. He never got the chance. 3 more death welders tackled him. The knife shattered against one of their armored suits. They didn't kill him, they restrained him, cuffed him, and carried him to the main chamber, where the human commander waited. The infiltrator hissed in a strange language, eyes glowing with hate. "You fear us," he spat. "You cover your weakness with metal and silence." The commander leaned forward slowly. "We didn't cover anything," he replied. "You just weren't listening." The operative sneered. "We will break you. Your strength is loud." But all loud things crack. The commander said nothing. He simply turned to the soldier next to him and gave a short nod. The soldier opened a side panel in the wall. Inside were data files, not of weapons, but of cities destroyed by past empires, of children buried under rubble, of allies who cried for help and were ignored. The commander looked back at the spy. "This is why we came. You call it power. We call it justice." Then, without another word, he turned and walked out. Later that night, Counselor Mera visited the command post. The stars above Laraka shined peacefully for the first time in weeks. She found the commander standing alone outside the bunker, staring up. "You stopped him," she said softly. He nodded. "He tried to call you weak." "No." She hesitated. "Do you ever wonder if you are?" The commander turned, and for a brief moment, his hard face softened. "Yes," he answered. "That's why we train harder. Think faster. Fight smarter." He looked at the sky again, "Because we never want to lose someone again." Mera said nothing. She understood now. Earth wasn't just a world of warriors. It was a world that remembered every life it failed to save. Earth's final message. The spy from the Tevak Union was gone, not dead, just gone, taken by Earth's black ships, quietly, without a single word of where or when he would reappear, but his capture had sent a shockwave across the galaxy. If Earth could spot him before he even stepped inside the command base, what else were they capable of? The answer arrived days later, not in a warship, not in a weapon, but in a message. It was sent on a wide frequency, open, clear, and in every known language. It came from Earth's high orbit, from a station called Echo 1, believed to be just an observation post. Until now. A black screen blinked on across thousands of star systems, then came a voice. A human voice, calm, cold, certain. "To those who seek to harm the helpless, to those who plan in shadows, to those who believe Earth is blind, we are watching." There was a pause, then the voice continued. "We are not your rulers. We do not seek power. But if another cry for help is heard, if another innocent is burned, then understand this: you will face the full strength of the Deathwelder Armada. And there will be nothing left to bury." The screen went black, the message ended. The silence that followed was deeper than fear. On Laraka, Counselor Mera stood with the human commander near the rebuilt city square. A statue had been placed there, simple, made from old stone. It didn't show weapons or soldiers. It showed a human hand reaching out to a smaller Lurican hand, carved from crystal. Beneath it, the words, "You asked. We came. Never again will you stand alone." Mera looked up at the commander. "Are you leaving now?" He nodded. "Our mission is done. Will Earth come again? If we are needed." She touched the statue gently. "I hope you're not." He looked at her, and for the first time, she saw something in his eyes. "Hope we do too." The black dropships began lifting off from the fields, rising one by one into the blue sky. Children waved. Adults stood silently, hands over hearts. Not in fear, but in thanks. The last ship lifted. The human commander gave a final nod and stepped aboard, and then Earth was gone. In the deep cold of space, The Deathwelder Armada returned to the shadows, their ships vanished into folds of space only Earth could navigate, their weapons powered down, but their eyes never closed, and every corner of the galaxy knew this simple truth: if you cry out, Earth will hear. If you suffer, the Deathwelders will come. And if you harm the helpless again, you will not survive the night.